Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Broyans Farm.
We're starting off here in the greenhouse today. Sammy and I are working on cleaning geraniums at the moment because we're going to be going to the hometown farmers market tomorrow. And especially this time in the season, usually at one point or another, a geranium or any kind of flower really will get a dry leaf, or not really dry leaf. The pot will get dry and then you'll get a red leaf or, you know, a yellow leaf. And so we're just cleaning them up a little bit. After you take maybe this leaf, this one, and this one off, the geranium looks absolutely beautiful, and you know, there's nothing wrong with it. And so that takes us about the longest part of it all, just because, you know, we have so many geraniums. But then once we get over into number 2 in the flats, there's really nothing to pick off of those. So that really just goes fast. We can kind of just load everything right on the truck. There's a bumblebee. Sammy's working on these like light pink, and there's like a little bit darker pink. You can see here a whole pile of leaves. We kind of have these just laying all over because we had, I think, around 1,000 geraniums. And so we're down to, I would say, about maybe 300 at the moment. And after today, we're probably gonna only have around 200. So hopefully, if we can keep selling them, we'll be out of them within about the next 2 or 3 days at market.
Some of the redder leaves actually come from a nutrient deficiency, which we got that figured out. But once they get that red leaf, you can't turn it back to green. And so it is what it is, and that's why we have to pick them off now. Unlike the petunias, where if they start to get that little bit of like discoloration, that yellow on the leaf, not from getting dry, but just like I said again, the nutrient deficiency, you can change that back. Sadly, you can't do that here. But usually it's only about 2, 3, maybe sometimes 5 or 6 if it's a bad one, leaves, and then your geranium is perfect. You can see how red that one was. It doesn't hurt the plant at all, if you take it off correctly, which we break it off right at the main stem. This one actually had quite a few. Another thing that'll help is actually getting it planted into a bigger pot or into the soil. Because at this point, it's been sitting in this pot for months. And obviously, we can keep giving it fertilizer, but the best thing for it is just to retransplant it into something bigger. So we just finished up loading truck. You can see how empty this greenhouse is now, which is just awesome. Hopefully we're not gonna be bringing a lot back. This is what the truck looks like. My mom just brought some stuff back from the farm market. A couple things that were getting a little bit big on her, and a lot of strawberries, because that's where we were keeping them at all season long. I think that's about the end of them. And so the truck is pretty full. We're probably just gonna stack these right in the middle because we don't have anything else to go here. There's no more hanging baskets. You can see we have an empty shelf there. There's one back there. But for the most part, it is full, making it worth, you know, taking the big truck. And then this is what number 2 looks like. This is pretty empty as well. A couple flats of just this and that here and there. Still have a good amount of petunias, but that's only because they literally just came on. Oh boy, I forgot about watering these guys. I'm gonna water these quick. And as soon as I get done with that, we're actually gonna move into planting. I think we're gonna start putting our early peppers in, which is gonna go in the plastic. So we're just about ready to start. We got Pap here supervising. We're gonna fill all 6 rows with bell peppers, Cubanelle, Italianelle, and I think Hungarian hot wax. Water tank, water wheel planter. Oops. All right.
right? So we just finished 2 rows. Back here to the water tank.
Hi.
Do you have the gas on?
Yeah.
And now we're gonna fill the tank up with water here. We go through, I think it's around 90 gallons, out 500 feet, and we run out. And then we have to fill it again on the other end of the field, you know, and then come back and fill it up again. So it takes not quite 90, but I would say around 75 to 80 one way. And this is just a water fertilizer mixture, just to help the plants get a good start.
The tractor actually doesn't go quite slow enough for us, so we had to restrict the governor. That way we could slow it down and we weren't planning too fast to where Mom or Sammy or whoever is planning at the time is skipping or missing a plant. To be completely honest, I'm not quite sure my parents knew at the time, but that water spout on the right side should be shooting the water directly and 100% into that wheel, allowing all the water to go into the hole with the plant. And as you can see, a lot of it is actually missing and going just straight onto the plastic, which wasn't a good thing. I don't know, I haven't talked to my parents, but I'm sure once they watch this, they might realize that it wasn't doing the best job it possibly could have. If you take notice as the wheel goes around, underneath that spike is a hole, and that's where the water will come out as the spike is making a hole in the plastic, flooding that hole, and then my parents are pushing that pepper in there, and then as that water drains and seeps into the soil, it's kind of also covering the plant at the same time. And when done correctly, without rocks, you shouldn't see any dirt from the plant or the roots. We finished up the peppers pretty quick, and then we came up here to another field where we have the plastic laid for tomatoes, and we started to get these in the ground. We knew we didn't have enough time in the day to finish all of them because these rows are almost 1,000 foot long and there's over twice the rows that the peppers were in. But we thought if it's gonna rain, we want to at least have some tomatoes in rather than having none at all. And so as you can see, it's basically the same exact process, except the spacing is a little bit different and there's only one wheel instead of two. And the reason for that is tomatoes need a lot more room to grow, meaning that if you had these double rowed just like the peppers, they'd grab themselves out and really won't produce the way they should.
We had a gas?
So it's going on around 5:30. We want to get back in the greenhouses and check just for some water to see, make sure nothing's getting wilty. So we're gonna call it a wrap for today. And then tomorrow, while we're at the hometown farmers market, Dad, Mom, and I think Dave, who is my cousin, is gonna come and finish this up. We got 4 rows done. I think there's 6 more to go. So we're not quite half, but it's going pretty smooth. At this end, we have basically the same exact water tank, but not as big of a pump. This is actually a garden hose, so it takes a little bit longer to fill the tank on the planter. And now Mom's just taking the tomatoes back off. Daisy, are you ready to be done for today? That's what I'm calling it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work. We got a rain last night, very muggy out, but I bet that's really making stuff grow. First thing we're gonna start out with this morning is going to the berry field and picking around 75 to 100 quarts.